The alert came during the quietest hour of Earth's deep space monitoring station. Dr. Sarah Chen was analyzing bacterial samples from Mars when the quantum sensors detected the first ripples of approaching vessels. The massive ships emerged from hyperspace like obsidian shards against the starlit void, their crystalline hulls refracting light in ways that defied conventional physics. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, Sarah had spent her career preparing for this moment. She watched through the station's main viewport as the 5 alien vessels approached, their movements precise and deliberate. The United Earth Defense Council had assembled their welcome fleet, a careful display of both military capability and peaceful intention. Dr. Chen, they're requesting to establish communication, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from his communication station. They're identifying themselves as the Nexus Collective. Sarah straightened her uniform, aware that she would be one of humanity's first representatives in this historic moment. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a being that appeared almost liquid in its movements. Its iridescent skin shifted colors as it spoke, translating thoughts directly into English through some advanced technology. "We greet Earth with peaceful intentions." The alien representative's words flowed through the speakers. "I am emissary Xal of the Nexus Collective. We have observed your civilization's remarkable progress and wish to establish diplomatic relations." Sarah noticed something odd in their transmission patterns. While the words were peaceful, the quantum interference patterns suggested massive energy buildups within the alien vessels. As a scientist, she had learned to trust data over diplomacy. "Emissary Xal," she responded carefully, "we are honored by your arrival. I am Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's xenobiological advisor. Would you share more about your civilization's interest in ours?" The emissary's skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "Your species has shown remarkable adaptability, Dr. Chen. The collective values such potential. We wish to guide your development." Sarah's hands moved discreetly across her console, running deeper scans of the alien vessels. The energy signatures were becoming more concentrated, focusing into patterns that reminded her of weapon systems she had studied in theoretical physics papers. "Lieutenant," she whispered to Rodriguez, "initiate Protocol Omega." Quietly. Protocol Omega was a contingency she had helped design, a series of automated probes that would launch toward Earth's secret research facilities if first contact went wrong. Each probe contained data about the alien vessels and their capabilities. "Your offer is generous," Sarah continued addressing the emissary, buying time as the probes prepared for launch. "Though I'm curious about the energy signatures we're detecting from your vessels. They seem rather militant for a diplomatic mission." The emissary's colors darkened slightly. "You are more observant than expected, Dr. Chen. Perhaps too observant. The collective had hoped to maintain the pretense longer, but since you've noticed." The alien ship's crystalline surfaces began to shift, revealing weapon ports that had been perfectly concealed within their geometric patterns. Sarah hit the launch command for the probes just as the first energy beams struck the station's shields. "All stations, battle positions," Sarah shouted, but she knew their conventional defenses wouldn't hold long against such advanced weapons. The probes shot away from the station's dark side, cloaked by the chaos of the initial attack. As alarms blared and the station shuddered under the assault, Sarah transmitted one final message to Earth. "First contact protocol has failed. Initiating Project Phoenix. Remember, they expect us to fight conventionally. Show them why that's their mistake." The Nexus Collective ships began their advance toward Earth, confident in their superior technology. But they had made a crucial error in their calculations. They had assumed humanity would respond like every other species they had encountered, with predictable military tactics and desperate pleas for mercy. They were about to learn that humans had spent their entire history finding ways to win against superior forces. And now, thanks to Sarah's probes, Earth's defenders would have vital data about their new enemy's capabilities. The real question wasn't whether humanity would fight back, but how many different ways they would find to do it. Sarah watched the alien ships approach Earth, knowing that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons, but their endless capacity to adapt and overcome. The Nexus Collective thought they were dealing with a simple, predictable species. They were about to discover just how wrong they were. Deep beneath the Martian surface, General Maya Patel stood in a chamber that shouldn't exist. Around her, Project Aegis hummed with power that defied conventional physics. Holographic displays showed the Nexus Collective's fleet advancing toward Earth, their crystalline ships cutting through space with predatory grace. Dr. Chen's data is clear. Maya addressed the gathered commanders, their faces illuminated by the red emergency lighting. The Collective's technology surpasses ours in almost every conventional measure. Their weapons are stronger, their shields more advanced. But they've never faced humans before. She gestured to the massive shape suspended in the chamber center, a warship unlike anything humanity had publicly revealed. Its hull was a patchwork of technologies, each section representing a different solution to the same problem: how to fight an enemy that outmatched you in every way. The Defiant isn't beautiful, Maya continued, walking along the observation platform. She's not meant to be. Every inch of her design comes from humanity's long history of asymmetric warfare. We built her to be unpredictable, adaptable, and absolutely ruthless. The ship's surface seemed to shift and flow, its adaptive camouflage system inspired by both octopi and stealth aircraft. Its weapons weren't the elegant energy beams of the Collective, but a combination of electromagnetic railguns, gravity manipulation fields, and systems that could turn space debris into deadly projectiles. Colonel Wei, status report, Maya called out to her chief engineer. Sarah Chen's quantum probes had arrived hours ago, transmitting vital data about the Collective's ships before they were destroyed. Wei's team had been working nonstop to analyze the information and adjust their systems accordingly. The Defiant's gravity wave generators are calibrated to match the frequency of their shield harmonics, Wei reported, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. The nanite swarms are programmed to target the crystalline structure of their hulls. Most importantly, we've confirmed our theory about their tactical limitations. Maya nodded grimly. The Collected ships were technological marvels, but they were designed to fight in specific, predictable ways. Their tactical computers expected enemies to follow logical patterns of engagement. Humanity's greatest advantage might be their ability to do the completely unexpected. They think they know what we're capable of, Maya addressed her crew. They'd watched our visible military development, studied our official defense capabilities, but humanity has always kept its best tricks hidden. She paused, allowing herself a small smile. And we've had a lot of practice fighting against superior forces. The chamber's main screen showed the Collective's fleet approaching Earth's defense line. Their initial attack had already destroyed several orbital platforms, but Earth's visible military response seemed disorganized, almost primitive. Exactly as planned. The Collective expects us to either surrender or fight a conventional battle we can't win, Maya continued. Instead, we're going to show them every dirty trick, desperate gamut, and impossible strategy humanity has ever devised. Wei, begin power-up sequence. Tactical, prepare the first wave of autonomous drones. The Defiant systems came alive, each one representing a different aspect of human ingenuity. The gravity manipulators could turn asteroid fields into weapons or create invisible walls in space. The nanite swarms could eat through enemy hulls like microscopic piranha. The quantum entanglement drive could move the ship in ways that violated the Collective's understanding of physics. They call themselves the Nexus Collective. Maya addressed her crew one final time. They think they represent the peak of technological and tactical evolution. But they've never encountered a species that turned warfare into an art form, that learned to win against impossible odds simply because they refused to accept defeat. The Defiant's engines ignited, the revolutionary drive system creating ripples in space-time itself. Above them, the Martian surface began to split open, revealing the hidden launch facility that had been decades in the making. The Collective wants to see humanity's true potential. Maya settled into her command chair as final launch preparations began. Let's show them why you should never corner a species that invented guerrilla warfare, asymmetric combat, and the art of making the impossible possible. As the Defiant rose from its hidden berth, Maya couldn't help but think about the irony. The collective had come to Earth expecting to find a primitive species worthy only of conquest. Instead, they were about to learn why humans had survived every catastrophe their world had thrown at them. The Defiant might not be the most powerful ship in the galaxy, but it carried within it humanity's greatest weapon: the accumulated knowledge of thousands of years of warfare, adaptation, and survival against superior forces. The real battle for Earth was about to begin, and the Nexus Collective was about to learn a lesson that countless would-be conquerors had learned before them. Never underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation in the face of extinction. The Defiant sliced through the darkness of space, its adaptive hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. From the command center, Maya watched as her tactical officer, Lieutenant Karen Hassan, mapped the debris field ahead. The remains of Earth's first line of defense had created a graveyard of twisted metal and broken dreams, but Maya saw something else: opportunity. The collective sensors are based on crystalline matrices, Karen reported, her hands moving through the holographic display. They're incredibly precise, but they have a fatal flaw. They can't process random chaos effectively. Maya nodded, remembering countless historical battles where superior forces were undone by simple confusion. Deploy the quantum chaff. Let's give them some chaos to process. The Defiant released clouds of specialized particles, each one designed to resonate at frequencies that would overwhelm the collective's sensitive sensors. But that was just the beginning. The debris field itself was about to become a weapon. Gravity manipulators at full power, Colonel Wei announced from engineering, ready to turn this graveyard into a hurricane. Maya leaned forward in her command chair. Show them why humans never throw anything away. Begin Operation Scrapstorm. The Defiant's gravity generators activated, creating controlled fields that began to move the debris in precise patterns. To the collected ships, it would appear as if space itself was coming alive. Fragments of destroyed stations and ships began to spin and whirl, forming an artificial asteroid field that defied normal physics. Through the chaos, Maya spotted their first target, a collective cruiser that had separated from the main fleet to investigate the strange readings. Its crystalline hull sparkled as it tried to navigate through the increasingly dense field of debris. They're attempting to analyze the pattern, Karen reported, monitoring the alien ship's emissions. Their tactical computers are trying to find logic in the chaos. Maya allowed herself a grim smile. They won't find any. Humans learned long ago that sometimes the best pattern is no pattern at all. Launch the swarm. From the Defiant's launch bays, thousands of tiny drones emerged. Each one was barely larger than a human hand, but they carried within them one of humanity's oldest weapons: pure destructive chaos. The drones darted through the debris field, their movements completely random, each one operating independently with only one goal: to cause as much confusion as possible. The collective cruiser's weapons came to life, firing precise energy beams at the larger pieces of debris. But their targeting systems, designed to track logical flight paths and predict standard evasive maneuvers, struggled to lock onto objects moving in completely random patterns. Their shields are still operating at full power, Wei reported, but they're spreading their coverage too thin, trying to protect against threats from all directions. Perfect, Maya responded. Time to show them why humans still use physical ammunition. All railguns, fire when ready. The Defiant's main weapons roared to life, launching hypervelocity rounds that had been specifically designed to fragment upon impact. The collected shields, already strained from dealing with the debris field and drone swarm, couldn't maintain cohesion against the scattered pattern of physical impacts. Direct hits, Karen called out. Their shield harmonics are destabilizing. The nanites are getting through. Through the tactical display, Maya watched as the tiny machines began their work, burrowing into the crystalline hull like microscopic termites. The collective ship's perfect geometry began to degrade as the nanites consumed its structure, turning the advanced alien materials into more raw resources for the swarm. "They're attempting to retreat," Karen reported, "but the debris field is too dense. They can't plot a safe course without their main sensors." Maya watched as the proud alien vessel floundered, its once perfect form now pitted and scared. "Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them Phase 1 was successful. The collected ships can be beaten." But she knew this was just the beginning. One cruiser was nothing compared to the full might of the collective's fleet, yet they had proven something crucial. All the collective's advanced technology could be undone by simple, chaotic human ingenuity. "Multiple ships breaking from the main fleet," Karen announced. "They've detected their companions' distress. 5 vessels on an intercept course." "Good," Maya replied, surprising her crew. "Let them come. Each engagement teaches us more about their capabilities, and them less about ours. Prepare for Phase 2. Let's show them what happens when humans really start getting creative." The Defiant disappeared back into the artificial storm it had created, ready to prove again why humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, but their ability to turn anything and everything into a weapon. The collective was about to learn that humans didn't need superior technology to win. They just needed enough chaos and determination to make their advantages meaningless. Admiral Xendra of the Nexus Collective stood before the fleet's tactical display, their crystalline form reflecting the chaos unfolding before them. What had begun as a routine conquest was becoming something unprecedented. The humans weren't fighting like any species they had encountered before. Another squadron lost in Sector 7. Their second-in-command reported. "The debris field. It's spreading. Our sensors can't distinguish natural fragments from their weapons anymore." On the Defiance bridge, Maya received the update with grim satisfaction. The quantum chaff they'd released had multiplied, creating a vast cloud that turned the collective's precise sensors into a liability. But that was just the beginning of humanity's response. "Dr. Chen's latest data analysis is complete," Karen reported. "The collected ships use quantum entanglement for fleet coordination. It makes them incredibly efficient, but it also makes them predictable." Maya finished. "They think and act as one. Time to show them why humans value individual initiative." Launch Operation Hydra. Across the solar system, hidden facilities activated. From beneath the ice of Europa, the stealth facility Deepwater released its payload. From the dark side of Mercury, Station Helios powered up its experimental weapons. Even the asteroid belt came alive as hundreds of supposedly abandoned mining operations revealed their true purpose. Each facility had been built differently, designed by separate teams with minimal coordination. There was no master pattern for the collective to analyze, no single weakness to exploit. It was organized chaos on a solar system scale. "Multiple signatures detected," Karen announced, her voice tight with excitement. "The collective fleet is shifting formation, trying to adapt to simultaneous attacks from multiple vectors." The alien ships moved with perfect coordination, their crystalline hulls gleaming as they attempted to form a defensive sphere. But their very unity became a weakness. As they responded to each new threat, their movements became increasingly predictable to human observers who had studied chaos theory and emergent behavior. "They're reacting exactly as the simulations predicted," Maya noted. "Their tactical computers can't process this many variables without falling back on standard protocols." Begin Phase 3. The Defiance engines pulsed as it emerged from the debris field, but it wasn't alone. Dozens of identical sensor signatures appeared simultaneously, each one a perfect copy of the Defiance energy pattern. The holographic drones, combined with the quantum chaff, created a hall of mirrors in space. "Collective fleet is splitting up," Karen reported. "They're trying to engage each signature individually. Their quantum coordination is breaking down." Maya watched as the perfect formation of alien ships began to fragment. The collective's greatest strength, their unity, was becoming their greatest weakness. Each ship, trying to process too many contradictory sensor readings, began operating independently. They're experiencing the same thing human armies learned millennia ago, Maya explained to her crew. In chaos, central control becomes impossible. Individual units must either adapt or fail. But the collected ships weren't designed for independent action. Their crews, used to operating as part of a perfect whole, struggled to make decisions without the quantum network's guidance. It was like watching a superorganism break apart into confused individual cells. "Launch the resonance torpedoes," Maya ordered. "Let's see how their crystalline hulls handle some old-fashioned vibrations." The weapons were deceptively simple, devices that could match and amplify the natural frequency of the collective's hull material. Like opera singers shattering glass with pure sound, the torpedoes began to make the alien ships vibrate in ways their designers had never anticipated. "Hull breaches detected on multiple collective vessels," Karen announced. "Their defensive formations are completely broken. The fleet is scattered across 3 sectors." Maya nodded, watching as humanity's apparent weaknesses, their disorganization, their unpredictability, their stubborn individuality, became their greatest strengths. The collective had expected to fight a unified enemy they could understand and predict. Instead, they were facing a species that turned chaos itself into a weapon. "Send word to all commands," Maya ordered. "Execute final phase. Show them why humans write so many stories about beating impossible odds." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden forces moved in for the kill. There was no central coordination, no perfect plan. Each commander had been given a simple objective: survive and make the enemy suffer. How they achieved that goal was up to them. The collective's mighty fleet, which had conquered 100 worlds through superior technology and perfect coordination, was about to learn why humans were still standing after every catastrophe their world had thrown at them. It wasn't because they were stronger or more advanced. It was because they had learned to turn defeat into victory, weakness into strength, and chaos into opportunity. The final battle for Earth was beginning, and the outcome would show the galaxy why humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their endless capacity to adapt, improvise, and overcome. The solar system had become a battlefield unlike anything in recorded history. The Nexus Collective's remaining ships, their perfect formation shattered, fought individual battles against enemies they couldn't predict or understand. On the Defiance Bridge, Maya watched as humanity's desperate gambit entered its final phase. "Status report on the collective flagship," she ordered, eyes fixed on the tactical display where the massive crystalline vessel still dominated the space around Jupiter. "Their quantum network is completely disrupted," Karen reported, "but their individual ships are adapting, learning to fight independently. They're becoming more human in their tactics." Maya nodded grimly. The collective was proving why they had conquered so many worlds. They could learn and adapt. But they were learning too late, and humanity had saved their greatest surprises for last. Dr. Chen's final analysis confirmed our theory. Colonel Wei spoke up from engineering. "Their crystalline technology isn't just their strength. It's their fundamental weakness. Everything they build follows the same perfect patterns. And patterns can be broken," Maya finished. "Begin transmission of the quantum virus." This was humanity's ultimate weapon against the collective. Not a conventional attack, but an idea turned into code. Dr. Chen had discovered that the collective's crystalline technology was based on perfect mathematical patterns. Their ships, their weapons, even their thought processes followed these patterns. The quantum virus didn't try to destroy these patterns. Instead, it introduced tiny imperfections, microscopic flaws that would multiply and grow. Like a crack in a perfect crystal, these imperfections would spread through their entire system. "Multiple collective vessels showing signs of systematic failure," Karen announced. "Their crystal matrices are becoming unstable. But the flagship, it's different. They've isolated their systems." Maya had expected this. The flagship, commanded by Admiral Senra, had proven more adaptable than the rest of the fleet. They had learned from humanity's tactics, becoming more unpredictable, more individual. They're finally fighting like humans, Maya observed. But they're about to learn why that's not enough. Launch Operation Legacy. Across the solar system, humanity's scattered forces began their final push. But they weren't attacking the collective ships directly. Instead, they were activating devices that had been hidden in plain sight, in asteroid mines, in communication relays, in the debris of previous battles. Each device began broadcasting a specific frequency, creating a web of intersecting waves throughout space. Alone, each signal was harmless. Together, they formed a resonance pattern that turned space itself into a weapon against the collective's crystalline technology. "The flagship is moving," Karen called out. "They've detected the pattern. They're trying to escape the resonance field." "They won't make it," Maya said quietly, "because they still don't understand humanity's greatest strength." "Way, show them what we learned from Earth's oceans." The Defiant's final weapon activated, not a device of destruction, but of creation. Inspired by how ocean waves could shape coastlines over time, it generated gravitational waves that worked with the natural forces of space rather than against them. The collective flagship found itself caught in what appeared to be a spatial riptide, the very forces they had mastered turning against them. Their perfect crystalline hull, designed to channel and control these forces, became a liability. "Structural failures detected throughout their fleet," Karen reported, her voice rising with excitement. "The flagship's crystal matrix is collapsing. They're hailing us." The main screen activated, showing Admiral Senra. Their crystalline form was clouded now, imperfections visible throughout their once perfect structure. "You have defeated us," Senra stated, their voice carrying a new tone. "Respect. Not through superior technology or strength, but through ways of thinking we never imagined possible." The collective withdraws from Earth space. Maya stood, facing the alien commander. "Remember this lesson, Admiral. Humanity doesn't win because we're stronger or more advanced. We win because we never accept limitations, never stop innovating, and never, ever fight the way our enemies expect us to." The collective ships that could still move began retreating, their perfect crystalline forms now marred with imperfections that would forever remind them of their encounter with humanity. They had come expecting to find a primitive species worthy only of conquest. They left understanding why humans had survived every catastrophe their world had thrown at them. As the last alien ships disappeared into hyperspace, Maya looked at her crew. The engineers who had turned theoretical physics into weapons, the tactical officers who had made chaos into a strategy, the scientists who had found patterns in perfection and imperfection in patterns. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them that humanity has earned its place among the stars not through perfection, but through our perfect imperfection. Our greatest strength isn't what we know or what we can build. It's our ability to face the impossible and find a way to make it possible." The Defiant turned toward Earth, its unconventional systems humming with power. They had won not just a battle but a victory for every species that had ever been dismissed as primitive or inferior. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was ready to show the cosmos why adaptation, innovation, and the courage to defy expectations would always triumph over perfect power.